talking to London Brown regarding Power Raising Kanan as we hitting up the season finale. First things first. Are you coming back next season?
Yeah, I'm alive, so that's good.
There was a lot to go with your character this year. We didn't know whether to like him, to hate him. Episode 9 was a lot to handle with. Obviously, let's go back to what got you interested in doing this. People remember you from Ballers, and it's always good to see you working. So, how did this come about?
I mean, the short answer is my agent sent me. He sent me some size for this project, and at the time I didn't even know it was Power initially, because that was roughly around the same time I remember seeing billboards just saying that Power was the season finale of Power. So I was like, well, this can't be the same project, because I just saw a billboard saying it was over. So when I got it, and I read for it, because initially I thought it was just like a fake title, because sometimes they'll do that to protect the project, put a fake title on the lines, on the sides. So when I read for it, had several auditions, and then once they told me I got it, they said I got to move to New York. So I was like, all right, and then I just packed my stuff and decided to move to New York, and so we can film. So that's the short version. I always wanted to do it, so I'm glad it worked out, man.
Marvin has been like, at first we wondered whether or not is he going to be the Fredo of the group. That's right. In episode 9 where you and Rock are talking, and you basically explain to him, I'm your older brother. I'm thinking like, that's what Fredo said. And we saw what happened to him.
I remember, because I hadn't seen it, but I remember hearing about the Fredo story and the whole thing about that. So, I mean, yeah, it is interesting. But, Marvin, like I said, he's had so many layers to him that it was important that he just let her know, he let Rock know exactly kind of where his heart was and where it stood with everything. He needed to be transparent with her so that hopefully they can mend their relationship, though.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously there's a relationship with Jukebox. We see that there's like a somewhat love-hate relationship there. We don't know where it stems from. And then obviously episode 9, he comes to realize that we're talking 1991 here, so we don't obviously at that time period the world was different back then.
Yeah.
And so how would you explain that scene and why he did what he did with Jukebox?
Marvin is old school, like I said, and again, we're going back to 1991. It wasn't as liberal as it is now, especially not in our community. And so when that hit the fan, people got to consider also it had been a long day for Marvin already. It had been a long week. It had been these episodes leading up to that. Marvin had been through a lot of up and downs. His sister put him out. His brother, was almost killed. His nephew was almost killed. Marvin was almost killed. So dealing with all of that, it was just that finding the news out about his daughter. It wasn't even necessarily just the news about the daughter that took him over the top. That was just the last thing of the needle in the haystack of all the other things that Marvin was already dealing with. And so, unfortunately, he took it out on her, but Marvin had been dealing with stuff all day, you know what I mean? And so that was just the thing that he was trying to handle it. Initially, when he was just looking at the tape, he was trying to compose and trying to figure out a way and give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's a school project. Marvin didn't know what he was looking at. So once it kind of clicked, along with her spitting in Marvin's face, all of that just sent Marvin over the top. But people also got to realize that Marvin, once he came to, he's like, man, he felt bad. And it crushed his heart that he went there, because he know he messed up. He know he blacked out. But by that time, it was too late.
When you were on Ballers, people got to see you. You got to work with The Rock. Here, it's an ensemble. And I told people earlier, the Power series are like comic books. Week after week, people want to see, people are invested with these characters. Even if you're in there for like one episode, people would know who you are. What does this series so far has done for you in your career? People know you, they see you, they wonder whether or not Marvin's got 20 lives?
You know, I think what it did, it definitely introduced me to a different audience that I wasn't connecting to with ballers. That's why when I was shooting ballers, I always want to do power because I felt like the people that I hang with on a regular basis, like regular street people, the hood watch power. And I'm so glad to connect with that audience because those are the ones, again, I'm amongst. And so it introduced me to a new audience, but it also showed that Marvin isn't just what people thought it was on Ballers if they seen that, or for people who know I do stand up, they know people realize that, oh, he's not just funny. But he can go there if he needs to. Because I'm nothing like, ideally, emotionally, I'm not like Marvin. I'm a lot more composed, a lot more chill. And so for the people who know me, they saw a different side of me. And then for the people who are just being introduced to me, they got to see just a side of me or a few sides of me through the acting. So I'm just glad that people were able to kind of understand, even throughout the season, how Marvin starts off at the top of the season, very nice and light and kind of charming. And then we go into this other dark place. I think people can say like, yo, he can go there if he needs to. And but I'm still trying to establish myself with the audience and let them know, hey man, I know y'all don't know me yet, but hey, I'm here and get used to me because I plan on being here.
Next year, we've already saw that Latoya Luck is going to come in as Jukebox Mom. You know, are you excited for that? Do you know Latoya Luckett?
We spoke, I spoke to her before I knew quite what she was doing on the show. Because I tend to speak to everybody. So I saw her in the makeup chair and I just introduced myself and kept it light, kept it pushing. So I still don't know what our storyline is going to be. So it's going to be new to me like it's new to y'all, just like this episode. We don't see him before everybody else. So, and we don't see the final cut. We don't know because people got questions to me. And I'm like, y'all know, the people know more about the show than I do. I only know kind of about, I'm remembering what Marvin did, but the audience is helping me stay in the loop. So as far as the new season, it'll be interesting to see where they decide to take us, if we're going to confront some issues or what that's going to be. I don't know yet. I don't know.
So when you're not playing Marvin and you're not on social media, what do you do to stay humble? Like, how do you try to shut that stuff off and you can be humble yourself?
It's very simple for me. I mean, because I practice, I make this part of my lifestyle, which is, one, I do a lot of stuff with homeless people. I feed homeless people, and I make sure I kind of do some of those things to make sure I always keep my heart in check. And I look for people to help, and and to give to. Sometimes it's time, sometimes monetary. It's just energy. It's an upliftment. It's encouragement. It's the small little bit of game that I know about acting and how to navigate through it and get into the. So, and I do photography. So sometimes I help actors and I give them headshots that they can use for their acting stuff. And get them going like that. But I just try to help as best I can. And like I said, and a part of that is always staying connected to regular people. When people on the street want to stop and take pictures, I try to do that because I know people ain't got to talk to me. Mm-hmm. They don't have to do that. I walk back and forth from the gym and, people, they just surprised to even see me in the hood. They don't even know what you doing here? But I purposely do that so that I'm always connected. As long as we stay on the ground, it's not if we fall, because we're going to fall along the way. But when I fall, it won't be very far because I'm already down here. Mm-hmm. And I try to keep very connected to that. And of course, I know all my stuff is come from God. So I've got to be very clear about that so that I know as I vocalize that it ain't me. I'm just a participant. I'm just glad to be given these gifts and I try to maximize them. That's all.
Now, do you get along with the rest of the cast off camera? Because sometimes, for some people, it's just a job. They do their thing. They go on their separate ways. And for others, they get along. You see them together outside of the power thing. People hanging out. How are you with the rest of the cast?
I get along well. Everybody's cool, man. Overall, the cast, there's a humility throughout the cast members. Everybody's solid, man, and pretty good. So I do have the inside joke is that I'm antisocial. So I don't hang out as much as they probably would like me to do, because sometimes they go to different whatever events they try to do or go to, and I'm kind of a homebody. So but I try to be better at that, because and it's not. I mean, they're all great to hang around. They're wonderful, fun people. They're great energy, great vibes. I just like being home, because my lifestyle is already out. Like when between working comedy clubs, stuff like that. Not recently because we've been filming a lot, but I'm used to being out. And the cast also is a little like they're kind of like a lot. Not they're fairly younger than me, so I know sometimes they want to just be out, and I'll be like,
I don't have that stamina anymore.
I'm good, man. Like I've done a lot of that, some of the stuff, but overall, they're wonderful, beautiful people to hang out with. I enjoy hanging out with them when I can. Sometimes table reads at dinner, for cast meetings and stuff like that, or press work we do together. They're great, man. I really like them.
What about the Boilers people? You still connect with John David, Dwayne?
I speak to some of I speak to some of them. When I catch them in passing, because one of my castmates, he's working on Power Book 4, Chris D. Lofton. We did Ballers together. So I give him a shout out and say thank you. Or if John David do something, I'll call and say, hey man, good work. And so me and Donovan, we still talk. So I still touch down with these cats, on social media and different things like that. Absolutely.
All right. As long as we know you're coming back, we need to see that family, that trio. It's too early for you to go out, So keep doing the thing. We're gonna be like, Marvin got 9 lives.
Yeah,
We're gonna make it through. We're gonna make it through. But as long as we know that he is not Fredo.
Yeah, exactly. Not for now. Not for now.
But it's good talking to you, man. Keep doing your thing. We're always here to support. And obviously, when you have some time, do some other work. We don't want to you don't want to just be known as Marvin, because I know you got more in you to showcase other things. So
absolutely.
Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna let you be. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate your platform.